Hello there, and welcome to the Dozing Explorer. I am so glad that you have found your way here tonight to this quiet and hidden corner of the world. There is nothing at all you need to do now, nothing to prepare. Simply find a position of perfect comfort, allow your body to feel supported and heavy, and give your mind permission to soften and unwind. My voice will be your gentle guide as we wander into a silent, secret garden. Tonight, we will drift into the deep and peaceful world of rare plants. We will not be studying botany, but rather exploring the quiet, beautiful, and strange solutions that life has found in its most secluded places. We will think of these plants as nature's quietest artists, its most patient inventors, living out their serene lives far from the rush of the world. This is a journey into a world of silent blossoms, whispering leaves, and ancient, sleeping seeds. We will float through sun-dappled forests to find flowers that look like ghosts, and we will travel to high mountains to see plants that create their own warmth. This is a story of quiet survival, of beautiful strangeness, and of the slow, deep, and patient rhythm of the vegetable kingdom. It is a reminder that the most wondrous things in the universe are often the most silent and the most still. And just before we begin our gentle wander, if these quiet explorations help you to find your peace, please consider liking and subscribing. It is a silent gesture that helps other sleepy souls discover this sanctuary, and it ensures our journeys can continue. But for now, all of that can fade away. There is nothing to remember. Your only task is to rest, to breathe in and to breathe out. Settle in, get comfortable, and let our journey begin. Your mind is free to wander, to drift, and to fall completely and deeply asleep whenever it feels ready. There is a plant that looks like a ghost of the forest. Deep in the shaded undergrowth of temperate forests, you might find the Indian pipe, or ghost plant. It is a strange and beautiful being, completely white from its stem to its delicate, bell-shaped flower which hangs its head towards the dark soil. It has no green chlorophyll because it does not photosynthesize. Instead of making its own food from sunlight, it borrows all its nourishment from the vast, unseen network of fungi that connects the roots of the surrounding trees. It is a silent and beautiful thief, a pale, quiet flower that has learned to live on the hidden magic of others. A flower can take a century to decide to bloom. The great agave, often called the century plant, is a master of patience. For decades, sometimes for as long as 30, 40, or even 80 years, it quietly gathers energy, storing it in its thick, fleshy leaves. It endures the long, slow passage of seasons in quiet contemplation. Then, in its final year of life, it pours all of that stored energy into a single, magnificent act, sending up a colossal flower stalk, sometimes as tall as a telephone pole, which erupts in a glorious display of yellow blossoms. After this one spectacular and final performance, the parent plant dies, having spent its entire existence preparing for one single, beautiful farewell. There is an orchid so small that it could fit in the eye of a needle. In the high-altitude cloud forests of Ecuador, the orchid Platystele jungermanioides lives a life of profound and quiet tininess. Its flower is only about 2 millimeters wide, with petals so thin they are translucent, like tiny slivers of perfectly crafted glass. The entire plant is so minuscule it often grows on the leaves of other, larger plants, a hidden world of perfect, microscopic beauty. It is a perfect secret jewel that the forest wears, almost too small for us to ever see. A tree on a distant island bleeds a sap of blood red. On the remote and otherworldly island of Socotra, off the coast of Yemen, grows the dragon's blood tree. It has a strange umbrella-like shape, a dense canopy of leaves held aloft to capture the moisture from the sea mists. But its most remarkable feature is its sap. When the bark of the tree is cut, a thick, dark, red resin slowly oozes out, looking for all the world like thick, dark blood. This resin, known since ancient times as dragon's blood, hardens into a beautiful, glassy stone and was once one of the most valuable substances in the world. It is a quiet, ancient being that holds the color of twilight in its veins. Some plants do not produce their own food, but instead borrow it from fungi. The ghost plant is just one example of a whole class of strange and beautiful plants called mycoheterotrophs. Lacking the green chlorophyll needed to turn sunlight into energy, these plants have formed a deep and ancient relationship with the vast underground networks of mycelium, the fungal threads that connect the forest. They tap into this silent subterranean web and draw their sustenance from it, living as quiet and peaceful dependents on the hidden, generous life of the forest floor. They are gentle, silent guests at a banquet they did not prepare. There is a flower that is perfectly black, like a piece of velvet night. The Taka chantrieri, or black bat flower, is a plant of profound and serene darkness. Its flowers are a deep, rich, purple-black, a color so dark it seems to absorb the very light around it. The flower has two large wing-like bracts that resemble the wings of a bat, and from its center hang long, thin filaments like whiskers that can be over a foot long. It is not a flower of bright and sunny disposition, but one of quiet, mysterious, and nocturnal beauty. It is a perfect, silent shadow, blooming in the humid undergrowth. Certain plants disguise themselves as stones to go unnoticed. In the arid deserts of southern Africa live a group of succulent plants called lithops, or living stones. They have evolved to look almost exactly like the pebbles and gravel of their surroundings, a perfect and serene camouflage to avoid being eaten by thirsty animals. They grow mostly underground, with just the top surfaces of their two thick, fleshy leaves visible. They are so perfectly disguised that they can be almost impossible to find until once a year, when they unexpectedly split open to reveal a beautiful, delicate flower. They are a quiet, living secret, perfectly kept by the desert floor. A mushroom can glow in the dark with a soft and silent green light. Deep in the forests of Brazil and Japan, the Mycena chlorophyllus mushroom performs a quiet, nightly miracle. During the day, it is an unassuming small mushroom, but at night, its cap and stem begin to emit a beautiful, gentle, and eerie green light. This bioluminescence is a result of a chemical reaction, the same one that lights up a firefly. The purpose of this silent cold light is not fully understood, but it may be to attract nocturnal insects to help spread its spores. It is a quiet, living lantern that turns the forest floor into a starry sky. The leaves of a flower become as transparent as crystal when it rains. In the cold, wooded mountainsides of Japan and China grows the skeleton flower, or Diphilea grayi. In dry weather, its delicate white blossoms look quite ordinary. But when rain falls, a quiet and beautiful transformation occurs. The petals slowly lose their white pigment and become completely transparent, like perfect, intricate sculptures of glass. The delicate vein structure of the petals becomes visible, and the flower takes on a ghostly, ethereal appearance. When the rain stops and the petals dry, their quiet white color peacefully returns. There is a tree whose bark peels away to reveal a rainbow of colors beneath. The rainbow eucalyptus, native to the Philippines and Indonesia, is one of the most serene and beautiful trees in the world. Its secret is not in its flowers or its leaves, but in its bark. As the tree grows, patches of its outer bark peel off at different times, revealing the bright green inner bark. This new bark then slowly ages, changing color from green to blue to purple to orange, and then to a deep red. Because different patches are peeling all the time, the trunk is a constantly changing vertical canvas of beautiful, gentle, and silent stripes. A flower can smell exactly like dark chocolate. The chocolate cosmos, or Cosmos atrasanguineus, is a flower native to Mexico that is sadly extinct in the wild. But it is preserved in cultivation for its unique and beautiful fragrance. Its deep, reddish-brown petals have a rich, soft, and unmistakable scent of cocoa or dark chocolate. It is not a sweet, cloying smell, but a deep, warm, and comforting aroma. It is a quiet and gentle reminder that the world of plants can produce scents that speak directly to our most pleasant memories. Certain plants have leaves with windows to let sunlight reach their interior. In the harsh deserts where too much sun can be damaging, some succulent plants have evolved a beautiful and intelligent solution. Plants like the Haworthia grow mostly buried in the sand to stay cool and conserve water. Only the very tips of their leaves are exposed. These tips are translucent, acting like tiny, natural fiber optic windows. They allow the sunlight to penetrate deep into the buried part of the leaf, where the quiet, protected machinery of photosynthesis takes place. A tree has survived without change since the time of the dinosaurs. The ginkgo biloba tree is a true living fossil. It is a species so ancient that its fossilized leaves have been found alongside the remains of dinosaurs. It is a tree that has no close living relatives, the last surviving member of a family that was once widespread across the world. It has survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and the slow drift of continents, a quiet, patient, and serene witness to the immense and deep history of our planet. A plant lives its entire life underground, emerging only to bloom. In the remote deserts of Australia lives the western underground orchid, Rhizanthella gardneri. This incredibly rare plant never sees the sun. It lives its whole life, from seed to maturity, as a pale, tuberous body several inches below the sandy soil. It has no need for light, as it gets all its nutrients from a symbiotic relationship with a specific type of shrub. The only time it ever interacts with the world above is when it sends a single, fragrant reddish flower just to the surface of the soil, to be pollinated by termites in the quiet desert night. There is a flower that perfectly mimics the appearance of a bee. The bee orchid, Ophrys apifera, is a master of gentle and quiet deception. To attract its pollinator, the male bee, the flower has evolved a central petal that looks almost exactly like a female bee. It has the same fuzzy texture, the same color patterns, and even produces the same scent. The male bee is tricked into landing on the flower and attempting to mate with it, and in the process, he picks up the flower's pollen. It is a silent, beautiful, and incredibly clever love story. The largest single flower in the world has no leaves, stem, or roots. The Rafflesia arnoldi is a plant of profound and beautiful mystery. It lives its life as a parasite, a thread-like network of fibers growing entirely inside a specific type of jungle vine in Sumatra and Borneo. It is completely invisible for its entire life until it decides to bloom. Then it produces a huge cabbage-like bud that erupts from the vine's bark into a single, colossal, 5-petaled flower that can be a meter across. It is a quiet, hidden life, punctuated by a single, spectacular, and fleeting appearance. A single seed waited 2,000 years in silence before sprouting. In the 1960s, archaeologists excavating King Herod's palace at Masada in Israel found a small clay pot containing a few ancient seeds. They were from the Judean date palm, a tree believed to have been extinct for centuries. In 2005, scientists decided to try and germinate one of these seeds. After 2 millennia of silent, patient waiting, the seed sprouted. The plant, nicknamed Methuselah, continues to grow today, a living, quiet connection to a world that has long since vanished. There is a tree that can live for 5,000 years. The Great Basin bristlecone pine, which grows in the cold, windswept mountains of the western United States, is the oldest known non-clonal living thing on Earth. Some of these trees were already ancient when the pyramids of Egypt were being built. They survive by growing incredibly slowly, their wood becoming dense and resinous, resistant to insects and rot. They are the quiet, patient, and serene elders of our planet, silent witnesses to the entirety of human civilization. A plant in the desert can appear dead for decades, then return to life with a single rain. The Rose of Jericho, also known as the resurrection plant, is a small, fern-like plant that has mastered the art of patient waiting. During dry periods, which can last for many years, it curls up into a tight, brown, seemingly lifeless ball. But when the rains finally return, a quiet miracle occurs. The plant slowly and gracefully unfurls, its leaves turning from brown to a lush, beautiful green in just a few hours. It is a serene and beautiful symbol of renewal and the quiet power of patience. The most solitary tree in the world had no relatives for hundreds of miles. The tree of Tenere was a lone acacia tree that grew in the Sahara Desert in Niger. For many years, it was considered the most isolated tree on Earth, the only one for over 250 miles in any direction. It was a silent, living landmark for the desert caravans, a solitary and peaceful testament to the power of life to find a way in the most inhospitable of places. Its quiet, lonely existence was a source of wonder for all who passed it. A plant can create its own heat to melt the snow around it. The eastern skunk cabbage is one of the very first plants to emerge in the spring, often when there is still snow on the ground. To do this, it performs a quiet and gentle miracle. Through a process called thermogenesis, it can raise its internal temperature to be much warmer than the surrounding air. This allows it to melt its way through the frozen ground and snow, creating a small, warm, and peaceful pocket in the late winter world where it can safely bloom. The leaves of a plant fold up gently at the slightest touch. The sensitive plant, or Mimosa pudica, is a quiet and beautiful study in motion. Its fern-like leaves are covered in tiny, delicate hairs. When they are touched, or even blown on by a gentle breeze, a signal travels through the plant, causing the leaflets to fold inward, as if in a state of quiet and shy repose. This gentle, slow-motion closing is a defense mechanism, but to us, it appears as a serene and peaceful interaction, a plant that quietly responds to our presence. There is a flower that opens for only a single night each year. The Queen of the Night, a type of night-blooming cactus, is a plant of profound and beautiful patience. For 364 days, it is a rather plain and unassuming cactus, but on one single night, usually in the middle of summer, it performs a quiet and spectacular show. Its enormous white and incredibly fragrant flowers begin to open at sunset, reach their full serene beauty at midnight, and then close forever at the first light of dawn. It is an entire year of silent waiting for one perfect, fleeting night of glory. Certain orchids have no leaves and are completely white. The ghost orchid of the Florida swamps is a plant of ethereal and quiet beauty. It has no leaves at all. It exists for most of its life as a flat, photosynthetic root system clinging silently to the bark of a tree. It is almost invisible until it blooms. Then, it sends out a single, intricate, and luminous white flower that seems to float, unsupported, in the humid air of the swamp. It is a quiet, beautiful, and serene apparition in the deep, green twilight of the forest. The pitcher plant is a peaceful and self-contained aquatic ecosystem. The carnivorous pitcher plant has leaves that have evolved into a deep, vase-like trap containing a pool of water. While this is a trap for some insects, for others, it is a quiet and protected home. A whole host of specialized organisms, from mosquito larvae to tiny crabs, can live their entire lives peacefully inside the pitcher's fluid, unharmed by its digestive enzymes. It is a single, quiet leaf that has become a complete and serene world unto itself. A type of bamboo can grow almost a meter in a single day. Certain species of bamboo hold the record for the fastest growing plant in the world. Once a new shoot emerges from the ground, it can expand with an almost imperceptible but constant and silent speed. Under ideal conditions, it can grow so fast that you can almost hear it, a quiet and gentle creaking as it stretches towards the sky. It is a beautiful and serene expression of life's unstoppable upward energy. The corpse flower can grow taller than a person, but blooms for only a day. The Titan arum is a plant of immense and quiet patience. It can spend up to a decade as an underground tuber, storing energy. When it has enough, it sends up a single colossal flower structure that can be over 10 feet tall. This magnificent bloom unfurls over a single afternoon, stays open for just one night and one day, and then collapses. It is a decade of silent underground waiting for a single, brief, and spectacular appearance. There is a plant whose seeds can only sprout after passing through fire. Many plants in fire-prone ecosystems, like the Banksias of Australia, have evolved a deep and peaceful relationship with fire. Their woody seed pods are sealed shut with a strong resin. They can hang on the tree for years, silently and patiently waiting. Only the intense heat of a wildfire can melt the resin and allow the pod to open, releasing the seeds onto a bed of nutrient-rich ash, ready to begin the next generation. For this plant, a fire is not an end but a quiet and gentle beginning. A single forest of quaking aspens is actually one single organism connected underground. The Pando clone in Utah is a grove of thousands of aspen trees that looks like a normal forest, but it is in fact a single male aspen that has been cloning itself for thousands of years. All the trees are genetically identical and share a single massive root system. It is one of the largest and oldest living organisms on Earth, a quiet and beautiful forest that is really a single, ancient and serene individual. This single organism, named Pando, is 80,000 years old. The quiet, interconnected root system of the Pando aspen clone began its life at the end of the last ice age. It has silently and peacefully endured millennia of climate change, fires, and disease. Each individual tree lives for only about 100 years, but the single, underlying organism is a quiet and continuous presence that has existed for a stretch of time that is almost impossible to comprehend. It is a gentle, living bridge to the deep, silent past. There exists a flower that offers no nectar, only the false perfume of a mate. Many species of orchid are masters of quiet and gentle trickery. They do not waste energy producing sugary nectar to reward their pollinators. Instead, they produce a highly specific scent that perfectly mimics the pheromones of a female insect, like a wasp or a fly. The male insect smells this perfume, believes he has found a mate, and attempts to copulate with the flower, pollinating it in the process. It is a beautiful, silent, and wonderfully efficient deception. A plant traps insects not with jaws, but with sticky, glistening dewdrops. The sundew plant is a quiet and beautiful hunter. Its leaves are covered in tiny, hair-like tendrils, each one tipped with a gland that produces a drop of sweet, sticky mucilage. In the sunlight, these leaves look as though they are covered in morning dew. An insect attracted to the glistening drops lands on the leaf and becomes hopelessly stuck. The leaf then slowly and gently curls around its prey. It is a quiet and passive trap of serene and deadly beauty. The Welwitschia mirabilis is a desert plant with only 2 leaves that grow continuously for 1,000 years. This strange and wonderful plant, found only in the Namib Desert, is a true survivor. From the moment it sprouts, it produces only 2 leaves. These 2 leaves are never shed, and they continue to grow from their base for the entire life of the plant, which can be over 1,500 years. Over the centuries, the desert winds shred the leaves into tattered, ribbon-like strips, but they just keep on quietly and peacefully growing. A flower in Hawaii resembles a bird made of shining silver. The ahina or Haleakala silversword is a rare and beautiful plant that grows only on the high, volcanic slopes of a single mountain in Maui. It forms a stunning, perfectly spherical rosette of long, silvery, dagger-like leaves that shine with a soft, metallic luster in the high-altitude sun. After decades of quiet, patient growth, it sends up a single, spectacular flowering stalk, and then, like the agave, it peacefully dies. Certain plants have a relationship so special, they can only be pollinated by a single species of moth. The yucca plant and the yucca moth have one of the most beautiful and serene partnerships in nature. The female moth painstakingly gathers pollen from one yucca flower and carries it to another. She then carefully deposits the pollen on the flower's stigma to ensure it gets pollinated. After that, she lays her own eggs in the flower's ovary so that when her larvae hatch, they will have a ready supply of yucca seeds to eat. It is a quiet, conscious, and perfectly balanced act of mutual care. The soapberry tree produces berries that can be used as a gentle, natural soap. The berries of the soapberry tree contain a natural surfactant called saponin. When the berries are mixed with water, they produce a soft, gentle lather that can be used for washing clothes or skin. For centuries, people have used these quiet, unassuming berries as a peaceful, sustainable, and completely natural alternative to chemical soaps. It is a gentle, cleaning gift offered freely by the quiet forest. A flower has petals so delicate they seem to be made of wax. The Hoya, or wax plant, has clusters of beautifully symmetrical star-shaped flowers. The petals are so thick, smooth, and perfectly formed that they do not look real. They appear to be tiny, intricate sculptures carved from the most delicate and translucent porcelain or wax. They are a testament to the quiet, patient, and perfect artistry of the natural world. There is an orchid that looks like the face of a smiling monkey. Deep in the cloud forests of Peru and Ecuador grows the Dracula simia, or monkey orchid. The arrangement of its petals, its lip, and its column creates a pattern that bears an uncanny and delightful resemblance to the face of a small monkey. It is a quiet and joyful piece of whimsy, a gentle and humorous face that nature has quietly painted onto a flower. The parachute plant does not harm insects, but gently traps them for a night for pollination. The Ceropegia woodi has a strange tubular flower with a cage-like structure at the end. Small flies, attracted by its scent, enter the tube but cannot get out because of downward-pointing hairs. They are held peacefully and unharmed inside the flower for about a day. A tree can clone itself, slowly creating a forest from a single individual. Many trees, like the aspen, have the quiet and beautiful ability to send up new shoots, called suckers, from their root systems. Over many centuries, a single tree can use this gentle, patient method to spread across an entire hillside, creating a vast grove where every single tree is a perfect genetic clone of the first. It is a slow, quiet, and peaceful way for a single being to become a multitude. The passion flower has one of the most complex and serene structures in the floral world. The flower of the Passiflora vine is a marvel of intricate and beautiful design. It has a flat base of petals on top of which sits a corona of fine, thread-like filaments, often in bands of purple and white. In the very center is a complex and sculptural arrangement of the flower's reproductive parts. It is a quiet and beautiful mandala, a serene and geometric meditation created by a plant. There is a tree whose seed pods explode with an audible pop to scatter them. The sandbox tree has a large pumpkin-shaped seed capsule that is a remarkable piece of natural engineering. When the capsule is fully mature and dry, it can explode with a loud crack, flinging its seeds at high speed in all directions. It is a rare moment of sound in the otherwise quiet world of plant reproduction. a small and surprising exclamation in the peaceful forest. Certain alpine plants create their own miniature greenhouses to stay warm. High in the cold, wind-swept Andes mountains grows a strange and beautiful plant called the Azorella compacta. It grows in a dense, hard, cushion-like mat that can be several meters across. This dense structure is incredibly effective at trapping heat from the sun and protecting the plant from the cold winds. The temperature inside the cushion can be many degrees warmer than the air outside. It is a single, quiet plant that has learned to create its own gentle and peaceful microclimate. The Rafflesia arnoldi smells of rotting meat to attract its pollinators. The world's largest flower does not have a beautiful scent. To attract the carrion flies that pollinate it, it produces a powerful and pungent odor of decay. This is not a flaw, but a quiet and beautiful example of perfect adaptation. In the deep, dark jungle, a sweet scent might be lost, but the strong, heavy smell of decay travels far and wide, a clear and effective signal to the specific insects the flower needs. It is a quiet, chemical language spoken for a very specific and silent audience. A giant water lily has leaves strong enough to support the weight of a child. The Victoria amazonica is a plant of serene and impressive strength. Its enormous circular leaves, which can be up to 10 feet in diameter, float on the surface of the water. The underside of the leaf has a complex ribbed structure that traps air and provides incredible buoyancy and support. A single, quiet, floating leaf is a perfect and beautiful piece of natural engineering. There is a plant that grows only in the spray of a single waterfall. The Habenaria repens, a type of bog orchid, has found its perfect and quiet home in the most specific of places. It thrives in the constant, gentle mist created by waterfalls and fast-moving streams. Its entire existence is tied to the peaceful, perpetual motion of falling water. It is a plant that has chosen to live its whole life in a gentle, unending shower. Certain algae can live in the snow of high mountains, tinting it a soft pink. A species of green algae called Chlamydomonas nivalis has adapted to the cold, high UV environment of mountain snowfields. To protect itself from the sun, it produces a secondary red pigment. This pigment gives the snow a beautiful, gentle, and surreal pinkish hue. Often called watermelon snow, it is a quiet and beautiful reminder that life can find a way to paint its colors on even the most stark and silent of canvases. The bristlecone pine twists into beautiful and serene shapes to survive high winds. The ancient bristlecone pines do not grow straight and tall. They are sculpted by the harsh, persistent winds of their high mountain homes. Over thousands of years, the wind shapes them, twisting their trunks and branches into gnarled, beautiful, and expressive forms. Each tree is a unique and quiet sculpture, a perfect and peaceful record of its long and patient conversation with the wind. A plant called the Rose of Jericho can dry out completely and then turn green again when placed in water. This remarkable plant embodies a quiet and peaceful resilience. In its dry state, it is a tight, brown, and brittle ball of twigs. But when it is exposed to moisture, it slowly and gracefully unfurls, its fern-like fronds rehydrating and returning to a soft, gentle green. It is a plant that holds the secret of a quiet and patient sleep, and a gentle and beautiful reawakening. The white egret orchid looks like a serene bird in perfect flight. The flower of the Habenaria radiata is one of the most beautiful and evocative in the world. Its pure white petals are fringed and shaped in a way that makes it look exactly like a small white heron or egret, with its wings spread wide in a moment of peaceful, silent flight. It is a quiet and breathtaking piece of natural poetry, a flower that has captured the serene and graceful soul of a bird. There is a tree in Bahrain that has lived for 400 years in a desert without a known water source. In the heart of Bahrain's sun-scorched desert, surrounded by miles of empty sand, stands a solitary and serene miracle. Known to the local people as the Shajarat al-Hayat, or the Tree of Life, this single mesquite tree has been growing for over 4 centuries in a place with no apparent source of water. There are no rivers, no oases, and the rainfall is almost non-existent, yet it stands lush and green against the stark landscape. Scientists have been quietly puzzled by its survival for decades. It is believed that its roots must run incredibly deep, perhaps for miles, to tap into some unknown ancient aquifer far below the desert floor. Others suggest it has perfected the quiet art of drawing moisture from the humid night air. Its continued existence is a profound and beautiful mystery, a quiet, living testament to the idea that life has secret, deep-running rivers and a patient resilience we can only wonder at. A flower has a lower lip that functions as a perfect landing platform for insects. The salvia flower has developed a beautiful and ingenious mechanism of gentle cooperation. Its lower petal is broad and sturdy, offering a welcoming place for a bee to rest as it gathers nectar. But this platform is also a quiet and clever lever. As the bee pushes down on the petal with its weight, the lever action causes the flower's stamens, laden with pollen, to pivot downward from above, gently and precisely, brushing the pollen onto the bee's back. It is a perfect and serene piece of mechanical engineering, a silent mutual agreement between a flower and its pollinator, where the offer of a moment's rest is quietly rewarded with the promise of new life. The telegraph plant can move its leaflets slowly, as if sending a silent message. In the quiet warmth of tropical Asia, the Codariocalyx motorius performs a slow and constant dance. In addition to its larger stationary leaves, it has small lateral leaflets that move all day long, even when there is no wind. They rotate in gentle, jerky, elliptical patterns, rising and falling over the course of a few minutes. This strange and serene motion, which speeds up in warmer, brighter sunlight, is thought to be a way for the plant to track the sun's position and maximize its light absorption. It is a plant that is visibly, quietly, and methodically charting the slow and silent course of the day. A carnivorous plant uses urn-shaped leaves that are too slippery for insects to escape. The Nepenthes, or tropical pitcher plant, is a master of passive and beautiful design. Its leaves form a deep, urn-like pitcher, often with beautiful and intricate coloration. The rim of this pitcher is incredibly smooth and slick, a perfect, frictionless edge. Insects attracted to the sweet nectar secreted around this rim will inevitably lose their footing on its polished surface and slide silently down into the pool of digestive fluid below. It is not an aggressive trap, but a serene and inevitable one, a quiet, polished slide into a peaceful, watery end. The bat flower has long whiskers that can grow up to a foot in length. The black bat flower, in addition to its dark, wing-like bracts, produces a cluster of long, thread-like filaments that hang down from its center. These bracteoles, which can grow to be 12 inches long or more, give the flower a strange and beautiful appearance, like the whiskers of a mysterious nocturnal creature. They drift and sway in the slightest breeze of the forest undergrowth, adding to the serene and otherworldly presence of this quiet, dark bloom. They are the gentle, silent feelers of a flower that seems to have been born from the twilight itself. Certain plants live in symbiosis with ants, offering them shelter in exchange for protection. The acacia tree has evolved one of the most beautiful and intricate relationships in the natural world. Some species have large, hollow thorns that provide a perfect, pre-made and protected home for colonies of ants. In addition to this shelter, the tree also provides food for its residents, secreting nectar from glands on its leaves. In return for this gentle room and board, the ants act as a devoted and tireless security force, swarming to attack any herbivore that tries to eat the tree's leaves or any rival vine that tries to grow upon its trunk. It is a quiet, perfect, and lifelong friendship, a silent and cooperative treaty between a plant and an insect. The albino redwood is a ghost tree that has no chlorophyll. Deep in the redwood forests of California, there are a few very rare and very special trees. These are the albino redwoods, mutants that are incapable of producing chlorophyll, the green pigment necessary for photosynthesis. Their needles are a soft, ghostly white, and they seem to glow with a pale, ethereal light against the deep green of the forest. They are quiet, beautiful, and mysterious anomalies, trees that should not be able to exist, yet somehow do. They are the pale, silent spirits of the great green forest. It survives by taking nutrients from the roots of the normal redwoods surrounding it. The secret to the albino redwood's quiet survival lies underground. It is a parasite, but a gentle and familial one. Its roots fuse with the vast, interconnected root systems of the healthy green redwood trees around it, often its own parent or siblings. It draws all of its sugars and nutrients from these generous neighbors, living its entire life as a quiet and peaceful dependent. It is a beautiful and mysterious symbol of a deep, silent, and supportive family connection within the quiet heart of the ancient forest. There is a flower that looks like a swarm of tiny ducks. The flying duck orchid, or Calliana major, is a small and delightful plant from Australia. Its single flower is a masterpiece of quiet, natural mimicry. The labellum, or lip of the orchid, has evolved to look almost exactly like a tiny, purple-brown duck in flight, complete with a head, a beak, and outstretched wings. This charming and serene illusion is a clever trap to attract the male sawfly, which is the orchid's only pollinator. It is a quiet, gentle, and joyful piece of art, sculpted by the patient hand of evolution. The baobab is a tree that can store more than 100,000 liters of water in its trunk. The majestic baobab tree of Africa and Australia is a serene and beautiful master of desert survival. Its most distinctive feature is its massive, swollen trunk, which is composed of a soft, fibrous wood that is excellent at soaking up and storing water. During the brief rainy season, the tree can absorb an immense amount of water, swelling visibly. It then uses this vast, internal reservoir to survive the long, dry months that follow. It is a quiet, living water tower, a gentle and patient giant standing silently on the arid plains. A plant called doll's eyes has berries that eerily resemble eyeballs. The white baneberry, found in the quiet, shaded forests of North America, is a plant with a strange and beautiful fruit. In the late summer, it produces a cluster of stark, white, porcelain-like berries, each one marked with a small black dot that is the remnant of the flower's stigma. The effect is uncanny, a small bunch of perfect miniature eyeballs staring out from the forest's gloom. They are a quiet, serene, and slightly unsettling masterpiece of natural design. The ballerina orchid looks like a small figure in a white tutu. This delicate and beautiful orchid from Australia has a flower that is a perfect miniature sculpture. The sepals and petals form the arms and legs of a tiny, graceful dancer, while the broad, white labellum fans out to create the perfect shape of a frilly tutu. The entire flower is poised in a serene and elegant arabesque, as if frozen in the middle of a silent, beautiful performance. It is a quiet and joyful celebration of dance created by a flower. Certain plants practice a visual deception, appearing to be covered in insect eggs to deter pests. The passion flower vine has evolved a quiet and intelligent form of defense. To prevent butterflies from laying their eggs on its leaves, the plant has developed small, yellow spots on its foliage that perfectly mimic the appearance of butterfly eggs that have already been laid. A female butterfly seeing these spots will assume the leaf is already occupied and will fly away to find a different plant. It is a silent, gentle, and wonderfully clever conversation between a plant and an insect. The manchineel tree is so toxic that even sheltering beneath it during a rainstorm can be dangerous. Found in the coastal regions of the Americas, the manchineel is one of the most poisonous trees in the world. Every part of it, from its bark to its sweet-smelling apple-like fruit, is filled with a host of powerful toxins. The sap is so caustic that even rainwater dripping off its leaves can cause the skin to blister. It is a plant of profound and quiet power, a serene and beautiful tree that asks only for a respectful and peaceful distance. A plant called hooker's lips has bright red bracts that resemble a pair of painted lips. In the tropical rainforests of Central and South America grows the Psychotria elata. For a brief period before its small white flowers emerge, the plant produces a pair of large, waxy, and brilliantly red bracts that look exactly like a pair of lush, perfectly painted human lips. This beautiful, quiet, and amusing shape is designed to attract its pollinators, like hummingbirds and butterflies. It is a gentle, fleeting, and romantic gesture from the heart of the jungle. There is a plant in Australia that only blooms after a wildfire. The grass tree, or xanthoria, is a plant that is perfectly adapted to the cycle of fire. It can live for hundreds of years, its trunk, a slow accumulation of old, dried leaf bases. After a fire has swept through the bush, clearing away the undergrowth and enriching the soil with ash, the grass tree is stimulated to bloom. It sends up a single, tall, spear-like stalk, which becomes covered in thousands of small, white, honey-scented flowers. It is a quiet and beautiful symbol of renewal, a life that finds its most serene and perfect expression in the quiet aftermath of destruction. The leaves of the prayer plant fold upwards at night, like hands in prayer. The maranta plant has beautifully patterned leaves that are in a state of quiet and constant motion. During the day, the leaves lie flat to catch the sunlight. But as evening approaches, the leaves slowly and gracefully fold upwards from a joint at their base, as if they are being raised in a gesture of serene and silent prayer. This gentle, nightly movement, called nyctinisty, is a quiet and peaceful rhythm that marks the transition from day to night. The jade vine flower is a pure and serene jade blue color. Native to the rainforests of the Philippines, the Strongylodon macrobotryes produces one of the most unusually colored flowers in the world. It hangs in long, spectacular trusses, sometimes several meters long, and is composed of dozens of claw-shaped flowers. The color of these flowers is a luminous, almost electric turquoise or jade green, a hue that is almost unheard of in the plant kingdom. It is a quiet and breathtaking display of a color that seems to have been borrowed from the most peaceful tropical sea. A type of lily can change its sex from one year to the next to maximize its chances of reproduction. The jack-in-the-pulpit is a clever and adaptable plant. In a year, when it has stored a lot of energy and is strong, it will produce female flowers, ready to bear the energetic cost of producing seeds. But in a year when its resources are low, it will conserve energy by producing only male flowers, which require less investment. It is a quiet, practical, and wonderfully fluid approach to life, a plant that peacefully adapts its very being to the circumstances of the moment. The breadfruit tree can produce enough fruit to feed a family for an entire year. This generous and beautiful tree, native to the South Pacific, is a staple food source in many tropical regions. A single mature tree can produce hundreds of large, starchy fruits each year, providing a reliable and abundant source of nutrition. It is a quiet, peaceful, and incredibly productive being, a single plant that can sustain human life with its serene and constant generosity. It is a true and literal tree of life. There is a plant that has developed its own form of antifreeze to survive in freezing climates. Many alpine and Arctic plants have the quiet and remarkable ability to survive being frozen solid. They can produce special proteins and sugars in their cells that act as a natural antifreeze. These substances prevent the formation of sharp, damaging ice crystals inside their delicate cell structures, allowing the plant to freeze and thaw with the seasons unharmed. It is a silent, molecular-level solution to the problem of a long and cold winter's sleep. The parrot flower looks exactly like a parrot in flight. Native to Thailand, the Impatiens citatina produces a flower of such remarkable mimicry that it is hard to believe it is real. When viewed from the side, the flower's purple and red petals form the perfect shape of a parrot, complete with a hooked beak, a rounded head, and a sweeping wing. It is another of nature's quiet and joyful little jokes, a flower that has decided to dress up as a bird. Certain alpine plants can take decades to reach the size of a small coin. In the harsh, cold, and windswept environment of high mountain peaks, life moves at a very slow and patient pace. A plant like the moss campion grows in a dense, low-lying cushion to protect itself from the wind. Its growing season is only a few short weeks each year. As a result, its growth is almost imperceptibly slow. A cushion that you could hold in the palm of your hand might be a silent, serene veteran of 100 alpine summers. The cork oak tree has a bark so thick it can survive forest fires unharmed. This remarkable tree, native to the Mediterranean, has evolved a unique and peaceful form of defense. It grows a thick, spongy and insulating layer of cork as its outer bark. This bark is fire retardant and protects the living tissues of the tree beneath. When a wildfire sweeps through the forest, the cork oak can stand serenely and untouched, quietly surviving the blaze that consumes the plants around it. It is a tree that wears a suit of quiet, fireproof armor. There is an orchid that looks like an angel in flowing white robes. The angel orchid, or Habenaria grandifloriformis, is a small and delicate orchid from India. Its pure white flower has a central labellum that is fringed and shaped to look exactly like the figure of an angel, with outstretched wings and a long, flowing gown. It is a flower of serene quiet and celestial beauty, a tiny, perfect sculpture of a heavenly being found in the peaceful quiet of the forest. The baseball plant is a succulent that is almost perfectly spherical. The Euphorbia obesa of South Africa is a plant of beautiful and serene geometric simplicity. It grows as a single, unbranched stem that is almost a perfect ball, patterned with gentle, symmetrical ribs. It has no thorns and no leaves for most of its life. It is a quiet, living sculpture, a perfect green sphere that has evolved to store the maximum amount of water with the minimum amount of surface area. It is a quiet and beautiful piece of living mathematics. A single fern can release more than 1 billion spores in a single year. Ferns are ancient and silent plants that reproduce not with flowers, but with spores. On the underside of their fronds, they produce tiny structures called sori, which contain millions of microscopic spores. When the time is right, these sori burst open, releasing the spores into the wind like a cloud of fine, quiet dust. This immense and generous production ensures that at least a few of these silent travelers will find a suitable, damp place to begin a new life. The cobra lily is a carnivorous plant that uses false windows to confuse its prey. The Darlingtonia californica is a pitcher plant with a beautiful and devious design. Its hooded leaf not only resembles the head of a cobra, but it is also dotted with numerous translucent patches that look like windows. An insect trapped inside will fly towards these false exits, thinking they are a way out, only to become more exhausted and confused. The true hidden exit is down a tube where they are quietly digested. It is a beautiful, serene, and silent house of mirrors. The Wollemi pine was known only through fossils until a living grove was discovered in 1994. This ancient and majestic tree was thought to have been extinct for 2 million years. Scientists had only ever seen it in the form of fossilized impressions in stone. Then, a park ranger exploring a remote and quiet canyon in Australia stumbled upon a small, hidden grove of these living prehistoric trees. The discovery was like finding a living dinosaur, a quiet and breathtaking connection to a long-vanished world. It is a true living fossil, a silent whisper from the prehistoric past. The Wollemi pine is a tree that has survived unchanged since the age of the dinosaurs. To stand in the presence of one of these quiet, ancient beings is to be in the presence of deep time itself. Its strange, bubbly bark and its unique fern-like foliage are a serene and beautiful design that was perfected 200 million years ago. It is a quiet, living piece of a silent and ancient world. The moonflower blooms only at night, releasing a soft and sweet fragrance. A member of the morning glory family, the moonflower is a plant that lives by a nocturnal rhythm. Its large, white, trumpet-shaped flowers remain tightly furled during the heat of the day. But as dusk falls, they begin a slow and graceful process of unfurling, opening completely in the cool night air. They release a beautiful and serene fragrance to attract night-flying moths, and then, as the sun rises, they quietly close forever. It is a gentle, peaceful flower that saves its beauty for the quiet and the dark. A plant called the dragon arum can produce a scent so strong it can be smelled from half a mile away. To attract the flies and beetles that pollinate it, the Dracunculus vulgaris does not rely on subtlety. Its enormous, deep purple flower produces one of the most powerful and pungent odors in the plant kingdom, a strong smell of rotting meat. This silent chemical signal is so potent that it can travel on the breeze for immense distances, a powerful and effective invitation to its very specific and desired dinner guests. The resurrection fern can lose almost all its water and appear dead, only to revive with moisture. This remarkable little fern lives on the branches of large trees in the southeastern United States. During dry spells, it can lose up to 97% of its water content. It becomes grey, shriveled and brittle, looking for all the world like it is dead. But when the rain returns, it will rehydrate and turn a lush, vibrant green within a matter of hours. It is a quiet and beautiful master of suspended animation, a plant that peacefully waits for the sky to give it life again. There is a tree that grows only on the island of Socotra and looks like an umbrella turned inside out. The dragon's blood tree has one of the most unique and serene silhouettes in the world. It does not have a central trunk that leads to smaller branches. Instead, its trunk branches out into a series of stout, repeating limbs, each one ending in a dense cluster of stiff, sword-like leaves. The Himalayan blue poppy is a color of blue so pure and rare it seems unreal. High on the misty slopes of the Himalayas grows the Mechanopsis betonicifolia. The color of its delicate, paper-thin petals is a true spectral blue, a color that is almost never found in the flower world. It is not purple, not violet, but a clear, luminous and sky-like blue. To see one is a rare and peaceful experience, a quiet and gentle reminder that nature's palette contains hues of a beauty that is almost beyond belief. Certain plants have seeds that are covered with hooks, allowing them to travel on the fur of animals. The humble burdock plant has developed a quiet and wonderfully effective method of dispersal. Its seed heads are covered in hundreds of tiny hooked bristles. When an animal brushes past the plant, these burrs latch onto its fur and are carried away. The animal, in its later grooming, will pull the burr off in a new and distant location. This simple, silent, and passive method of travel was the direct inspiration for the human invention of Velcro. The quiver tree is so named because the San people used its hollowed branches to make quivers for their arrows. This beautiful and serene aloe tree from southern Africa has branches that are soft, fibrous, and easy to hollow out. The indigenous San people discovered that these hollow branches made perfect, lightweight containers for carrying their arrows. The tree's quiet, functional design became an integral part of a human culture, a gentle and peaceful partnership between a plant and a people. The tree quietly provided a tool for a life of silent hunting. There is an orchid that resembles a tiny, naked man. The Orchis italica, or the naked man orchid, is a flower of delightful and humorous charm. The individual flowers that make up its dense cluster each have a labellum that is shaped in a way that perfectly resembles a small, pink human figure, complete with arms, legs, and even two tiny dots for eyes. It is another of nature's quiet, gentle, and playful little jokes, a flower that seems to be celebrating the human form in the most serene and innocent way. The sensitive plant is so delicate that its leaves close if you gently blow on them. The Mimosa pudica has a rapid and beautiful response to even the most gentle of disturbances. A soft touch or a quiet puff of air is enough to trigger the chain reaction that causes its leaflets to fold up. This rapid movement is caused by a sudden change in water pressure at the base of the leaves. It is a quiet and beautiful example of a plant that is acutely and peacefully aware of its immediate surroundings. The ginkgo biloba is a species of tree with no close living relatives. This ancient and serene tree is truly one of a kind. It is the last surviving member of a division of plants that is over 270 million years old. All of its other family members have long since gone extinct. To see a ginkgo tree is to see a quiet, lonely survivor from another age, a single, final branch on a vast and ancient part of the tree of life. It is a gentle and peaceful living fossil. A single ginkgo tree can live for 1,000 years. In addition to being ancient as a species, individual ginkgo trees are themselves incredibly long-lived and resilient. They are famously resistant to pests, disease, and pollution. Some specimens in temple gardens in Asia are believed to be over 1,500 years old. They are quiet, patient, and serene witnesses to centuries of human history. Their beautiful, fan-shaped leaves gently marking the slow and peaceful passage of time. The cathedral bell's flower has flowers inside of flowers, creating a serene bell effect. The Cobaea scandens vine produces a large and beautiful bell-shaped flower. But the most remarkable feature is that the calyx, the part of the plant that encloses the flower bud, is itself shaped like a smaller greenish bell. As the main purple flower emerges from it, it creates a beautiful, layered, bell-within-a-bell effect. It is a quiet and intricate piece of natural architecture, a serene and silent chime in the garden. There is a plant that has evolved to be pollinated by lizards. On some remote islands where insect pollinators are scarce, certain plants have developed a new and quiet partnership. The flowers of the Nesocarium stylosum produce a large quantity of easily accessible nectar and are a dull color, perfectly suited to attract the local lizards. The lizards come to drink the sweet nectar, and, in the process, their snouts are dusted with pollen, which they then carry to the next flower. It is a quiet, slow motion, and unexpected form of pollination. Certain plants have given up on photosynthesis entirely and live as parasites on the roots of other plants. The broomrape plant is a pale, quiet, and ghostly flower that has no green parts at all. It lives its entire life by attaching its roots to the roots of a host plant, like a clover or a tomato, and silently drawing all of its nutrients from its unsuspecting neighbor. It is a quiet and beautiful example of life finding the most serene and energy-efficient path, even if it means living a life of gentle and complete dependence. The traveler's tree stores water at the base of its leaves, providing a resource for thirsty travelers. This beautiful and elegant plant from Madagascar is not a true palm, but is related to the banana. Its large fan-like arrangement of leaves is not just beautiful, but also functional. The bases of its long leaf stalks can collect and store a significant amount of rainwater. In its native land, it was a quiet and welcome sight for travelers who knew they could find a clean and peaceful drink of water stored in its gentle green arms. There is a flower that looks like a starfish resting on a rock. The starfish flower, or Stapelia gigantea, is a succulent that produces one of the largest and most unusual flowers in the plant kingdom. The flower is enormous, leathery, and patterned with intricate reddish lines on a pale yellow background, making it look almost exactly like a starfish. It also produces a faint scent of carrion to attract the flies that pollinate it. It is a quiet and beautiful piece of marine mimicry found in the dry and silent landscapes of the desert. The pinwheel plant has leaves that unfold in a perfect and quiet spiral. The Aeonium tabuliforme is a succulent that grows in a perfectly flat, dinner plate-sized rosette. Its soft, fleshy leaves are arranged in a precise and beautiful Fibonacci spiral, creating a serene and geometrically perfect pattern. The entire plant is a quiet and breathtaking display of the mathematical principles that so often underlie the beautiful and peaceful forms of the natural world. The jellyfish tree was thought to be extinct until a single tree was rediscovered in the 1970s. The Medusa gynopositifolia is one of the rarest trees in the world, found only on the island of Mahé in the Seychelles. After being declared extinct, a small and quiet population was found clinging to a remote granite hillside. Its flowers are small and white, but its fruit is what gives it its name, a cluster of carpels that resembles a small, serene jellyfish. It is a quiet and gentle survivor, a species pulled back from the silent brink of eternal disappearance. Its seeds are so small, they are dispersed by the wind like a silent powder. The jellyfish tree has an unusual method of reproduction. It produces winged seeds that are incredibly small and lightweight, almost like a fine dust. This allows them to be carried on the gentle updrafts of wind along the steep, rocky slopes where the tree lives. It is a quiet, patient, and delicate strategy for finding a new and suitable crack in the granite where a new life can begin. The Attenborough's pitcher plant is so large it can trap and digest small rodents. Discovered on a single mountain in the Philippines, the Nepenthes attenboroughi is one of the largest carnivorous plants in the world. Its enormous bell-shaped pitchers can hold several liters of fluid. While its primary diet is insects, it is large enough to occasionally and accidentally trap small animals like shrews or rats. It is a quiet, serene, and profoundly powerful plant at the very top of its own small, peaceful food chain. The American agave can live for 30 years before sending up a single, enormous flower stalk. This beautiful and serene plant is another master of quiet patience. For decades, it exists as a large and beautiful rosette of spiky blue-green leaves. It quietly and methodically stores up sugars and nutrients in its heart. Then, in its final act, it sends up a huge, branching flower stalk that can be as tall as a house, covered in sweet, yellow flowers. It is a lifetime of silent, peaceful preparation for one final, glorious, and generous display. After flowering, the plant dies in a final act of quiet and beautiful reproduction. The immense energetic cost of producing its colossal flower stalk is the final act of the agave's life. Once it has bloomed and been pollinated, the parent plant has no energy left, and it slowly and peacefully withers and dies. But it has succeeded in its life's quiet purpose, and the base of the dying plant is often surrounded by small pups and clones, the next generation ready to begin their own long and patient journey. There is a plant that only grows on soil rich in nickel, giving it a unique blue-green color. The Psychotria doare is a rare shrub from New Caledonia that has a remarkable and quiet ability. It is a hyperaccumulator, meaning it can absorb and tolerate levels of heavy metals in the soil that would be toxic to almost any other plant. It sequesters so much nickel in its sap that the liquid turns a bright, beautiful, and serene blue-green. It is a plant that has learned to thrive in a difficult and quiet place by embracing the very thing that makes it poisonous to others. The Egyptian blue lotus was a sacred flower believed to have calm and peaceful properties. The Nymphaea caerulea was a flower of deep spiritual significance to the ancient Egyptians. It was depicted in countless works of art and was associated with creation and rebirth. It opens its beautiful blue-tinged flowers in the morning and closes them again at night, a serene and silent daily rhythm. It was believed to have a gentle, calming fragrance and was often used in quiet, peaceful ceremonies. It is a flower with a deep and ancient history of serenity. A certain plant produces a milky sap that was used to make the first forms of chewing gum. The sapodilla tree, native to Central America, produces a thick, white, latex-like sap called chicle. The ancient Mayans and Aztecs discovered that if you boiled this sap, it would form a soft, pliable gum that could be chewed. This quiet, unassuming tree sap was the original, natural, and peaceful ingredient in all chewing gum, long before synthetic substitutes were invented. The Venus slipper flower is an orchid with a deep, soft pouch designed to gently trap insects. This beautiful and serene orchid has a modified petal called a labellum that is shaped like a deep, colorful slipper or pouch. An insect, usually a bee, will slip on the smooth rim and fall gently inside. The inside of the pouch is a quiet and calm chamber, and there is only one narrow exit. As the bee crawls out of this escape route, it is forced to brush past the flower's stigma and pollinia, thus ensuring pollination. It is a trap of beautiful, quiet, and gentle design. There is a tree in the Philippines whose fruit has a flavor that resembles a creamy custard. The ylang-ylang tree is most famous for the intensely fragrant oil from its flowers, which is used in perfumes. But it also produces a fruit that is a quiet and delicious secret. When eaten, the fruit's creamy texture and sweet, mild flavor have been compared to a rich and beautiful custard or a banana-flavored flan. It is a quiet and gentle tree that offers a gift to both our sense of smell and our sense of taste. The hummingbird plant has flowers that perfectly resemble a small green hummingbird. The Crotalaria cunninghami from Australia is a plant of almost unbelievable mimicry. Its greenish-yellow flowers grow in clusters, and each individual bloom, when viewed from the side, looks exactly like a tiny hummingbird, complete with a body, a head with a small black eye, and a sweeping tail. It is a quiet and beautiful illusion, a serene and gentle reminder of the playful and artistic spirit of the natural world. A type of moss found in caves has cells that act as perfect lenses. The luminous moss, or Schistostega pennata, lives in the dim, quiet twilight near the entrance of caves and other dark places. To maximize the tiny amount of light it receives, each of its protonemal cells is shaped like a perfect microscopic lens. This lens gathers and focuses the faint light onto the chloroplasts at the back of the cell. The reflected light that we see gives the moss a beautiful, serene, and cat's eye-like golden green glow. It is a plant that has quietly learned to sculpt with light itself. This moss's cells focus the faint light, giving it a serene greenish gold glow. The effect of these countless tiny lenses all working together is that the luminous moss seems to shine with its own internal light. It is not bioluminescent, but is simply a masterful and quiet collector of the faint ambient light. The sausage tree produces long woody fruits that hang down like sausages. The Kigelia africana is a beautiful and strange tree that is unmistakable when it is in fruit. After its large, bell-shaped, blood-red flowers have bloomed, It produces an enormous woody fruit that can be up to 2 feet long and weigh as much as 15 pounds. These fruits hang down from the branches on long, rope-like stalks, looking for all the world like giant sausages. They are a quiet, gentle, and humorous feature of the African savanna. There is a flower that grows only on the slopes of a single volcano. The Puya Raimondi, the queen of the Andes, is a plant of incredible specificity and patience. It lives for up to a century as a massive, spiky rosette, sometimes 15 feet tall. It grows only at very high altitudes in the Andes Mountains of Peru and Bolivia. In its final year, it produces the largest flower spike in the world, a colossal structure 30 feet tall, bearing thousands of individual flowers. It is a quiet, serene, and majestic plant that lives its entire long life on one single, sacred mountain. The squirting cucumber plant builds up pressure in its fruit until it shoots its seeds at high speed. As the fruit of the Ecballium elaterium ripens, it fills with a mucilaginous liquid and the pressure inside builds up. When it is ripe, the slightest touch will cause the fruit to detach from its stalk, and the pent-up pressure violently ejects the seeds and the sticky liquid from the hole where the stalk was attached. It is a quiet and effective method of seed dispersal, a small and surprising hydraulic cannon in the peaceful plant world. Certain plants communicate with each other through silent chemical signals sent through their roots. The forest is a place of deep and quiet conversation. Trees and other plants are not isolated individuals. Their root systems are often interconnected by a vast underground network of symbiotic fungi. Through this network, they can send chemical distress signals to each other. If one tree is being attacked by insects, it can warn its neighbors, who can then begin to produce defensive chemicals in their leaves. It is a silent, gentle, and cooperative community, sharing information for the good of the whole. The rain tree in India folds its leaves at night, allowing rain to reach the ground beneath. The saman, or rain tree, has a vast umbrella-like canopy that provides deep shade during the day. But this beautiful tree has a quiet nightly rhythm. In the evening, and also when the sky is overcast and rain is approaching, its leaves fold up. This gentle, peaceful action allows the rain to pass through the canopy and water the ground beneath, nurturing the smaller plants that grow in its shade. It is a quiet act of generous and thoughtful cooperation. There is an orchid that looks like an alien with its arms outstretched. The Callichylis platychilus, a rare Australian orchid, has a flower that is a delightful piece of natural whimsy. The shape of its petals and its prominent, hairy labellum give it the uncanny appearance of a stereotypical little green man from science fiction. With a large head, big eyes, and arms held open in a gesture of serene welcome. It is a quiet, gentle, and humorous flower that seems to have come from another world. The saguaro cactus can live for 200 years and doesn't grow its first arm until it is 75. The majestic saguaro cactus is a symbol of the American desert, a serene and patient giant. Its growth is incredibly slow. For the first many decades of its life, it is a single, straight column. Only when it has reached middle age at around 75 years old does it have enough energy to begin growing its first iconic, arm-like branches. Each saguaro is a quiet and beautiful testament to the power of slow, patient, and persistent growth. A plant called devil's tongue has a flower that smells so bad, people often think a dead animal is nearby. A member of the same family as the Titan arum, the voodoo lily, or devil's tongue, produces a large, deep purple and profoundly smelly flower. To attract its pollinators, flies and beetles that feed on carrion, it generates a powerful and convincing odor of decay. It is another quiet and beautiful example of a plant that speaks a very specific, silent, and chemical language, a perfume that is repulsive to us, but is a beautiful invitation to the creatures it needs. The sundial, lupine flower has flowers that track the sun across the sky during the day. This beautiful wildflower has a serene and quiet connection to the sun. Its clusters of blue flowers will orient themselves to face the east in the morning and then slowly and gracefully turn throughout the day to follow the sun's path across the sky, a process called heliotropism. This silent, constant motion allows the flower to maximize its warmth, making it more attractive to pollinators. It is a quiet, living clock, peacefully marking the passage of the day. There is a plant that has developed a relationship with bats who sleep inside its large leaves. The pitcher plant Nepenthes hemsleyiana has a special and quiet friendship with the woolly bat. The pitcher of this plant is shaped in a way that is not a very effective insect trap. Instead, its shape is a perfect acoustic match for the bat's echolocation call, making it easy for the bat to find. The bat will roost inside the pitcher during the day, safe and protected. In return, the plant receives a steady supply of nutrients from the bat's droppings. It is a quiet, serene, and mutually beneficial hotel service. The giant cycad is one of the oldest and slowest growing plants in the world. Cycads are an ancient group of plants that were common during the age of the dinosaurs. The giant cycad of South Africa is a particularly serene and patient example. Its growth is so incredibly slow that a large specimen, which might be only a few meters tall, can be over 1,000 years old. To be in the presence of one is to be in the presence of a quiet, living being that has been peacefully watching the world change for a millennium. A 1,000-year-old specimen might be only a few feet tall. The slowness of the giant cycad's growth is a quiet adaptation to a life in a nutrient-poor environment. It conserves its energy with a profound and peaceful efficiency. Its immense age is hidden in a small and unassuming form. It is a quiet reminder that the greatest age and wisdom are not always found in the largest and most spectacular of packages. The cannonball tree produces large, round fruits that grow directly from its trunk. The Curupita guianensis is a beautiful tropical tree with fragrant, intricate flowers, but its most notable feature is its fruit. It produces large, heavy, spherical fruits that can be the size of a cannonball. Instead of growing on the branches, these fruits hang from a thick, woody vine that grows directly out of the main trunk of the tree. When they fall, they can make a loud and surprising sound in the quiet of the forest. A plant called the Titan arum has the strongest and most unpleasant scent of any plant in the world. This quiet giant, which produces the world's largest unbranched inflorescence, is famous for its incredible and overpowering odor. To attract its pollinators from across great distances in the Sumatran rainforest, it produces a complex bouquet of chemical scents that perfectly mimics the smell of a large, decaying animal. It is a quiet, chemical shout, a silent and incredibly effective form of long-distance communication. This plant only blooms for a few hours every several years. The Titan arum is another master of quiet and patient energy storage. It will spend many years as an underground corm, sending up a single, large leaf each year to photosynthesize. When it has stored enough energy, it will produce its single, colossal, and smelly bloom. The flower is only open for about 24 to 36 hours, a brief and spectacular event that may not happen again for another 7 to 10 years. It is a lifetime of quiet, peaceful waiting for a single, unforgettable day. There is a flower that looks like a smiling bumblebee face. The bumblebee orchid, or Ophrys bombiliflora, is another master of gentle and quiet mimicry. To attract its specific pollinator, a species of solitary bee, its central petal has evolved to look exactly like the fuzzy, round body of the bee itself. Above this, the rest of the flower forms what looks uncannily like a cheerful, smiling face with two bright green sepals as eyes. It is a plant that has not only learned to imitate its partner, but to do so with a quiet and joyful sense of humor. It is a flower that offers a serene and happy face to the world. The The banyan tree of life can spread to cover several acres, appearing like an entire forest. This majestic tree, native to India, has a unique and beautiful way of growing. It sends down aerial roots from its branches, and when these roots reach the ground, they thicken and become new, woody trunks. Over many centuries, a single banyan tree can use this quiet, patient method to expand into a vast and complex grove with hundreds of interconnected trunks. It becomes a serene and beautiful labyrinth, a single, ancient organism that has gracefully transformed itself into a quiet and peaceful forest. Strangler figs begin their life in the canopy of a tree and slowly send their roots to the ground. The life of a strangler fig begins not in the dark soil, but in the sunlit branches of a host tree where a bird or animal has deposited a seed. From there, it begins to grow, sending down long, thin, aerial roots that look like quiet, patient tendrils. This process can take many years, a slow and silent descent from the sky to the earth. It is a plant that begins its life in reverse, starting at the top and patiently, peacefully, working its way down. Once rooted, they envelop and finally replace the host tree in a slow and silent embrace. After its roots have found the soil and established themselves, the strangler fig begins to grow more quickly. It sends up a beautiful lattice-like network of roots that surrounds the trunk of the host tree. Over many decades, these roots thicken and fuse, creating a new, hollow trunk around the old one. Eventually, the original host tree may die and rot away, leaving the serene and beautiful strangler fig standing alone, a hollow monument to a long and quiet process of gentle replacement. There is a flower of a red, so pure and deep it seems almost unreal. The Chilean firebush, or Embothrium coccineum, produces clusters of long tubular flowers of the most intense and brilliant scarlet red. The color is so pure and saturated that on a gray day, in its native Patagonian forests, the flowers seem to glow with their own internal light. It is a quiet and breathtaking splash of warmth and color in a cool and often misty landscape. It is a flower that has captured the serene and perfect essence of the color red. The candelabra tree has branches that grow upwards, resembling the arms of a candelabrum. Many species of euphorbia in Africa have evolved this beautiful and serene architectural form. To maximize their exposure to the sun in arid landscapes, their branches grow vertically from a central trunk, creating a striking and symmetrical silhouette against the sky. They look like giant natural sculptures, quiet and peaceful sentinels on the savanna, their arms held up to the sky as if in a state of silent, serene worship. The ghost orchid has no leaves and appears to float in the forest air. This rare and ethereal orchid, Dendrophylax lindeni, is a plant of almost complete transparency. It is given up on leaves entirely. It exists as a flat, quiet network of greenish-gray roots that cling to the bark of its host tree, almost invisible. The only time it reveals itself is when it blooms, producing a single, intricate, luminous white flower on a thin, wiry stem. With no visible plant body, the flower seems to be miraculously suspended in the humid green air of the swamp. A quiet and beautiful apparition. Its roots contain chlorophyll, so it photosynthesizes with its roots instead of its leaves. The ghost. Orchid's quiet secret to survival is that its roots have taken on the job of its missing leaves. The cells in the roots themselves are filled with chlorophyll, allowing the entire plant to create energy from sunlight through its clinging root system. It is a beautiful and serene example of nature finding a new and quiet way to solve the fundamental problem of life, turning the anchor of the plant into its engine. The shame plant closes its leaves at night or when disturbed, as if it is shy. The Mimosa pudica, also known as the sensitive plant, has a rapid and peaceful response to touch, but it also has a slower daily rhythm. As the sun sets and darkness falls, its leaves will slowly and gracefully fold inwards, entering a quiet state of sleep for the night. This serene daily motion is a beautiful and quiet ritual, a plant peacefully tucking itself in for a long and restful night's sleep. There is a plant that grows only on the tops of the tabletop mountains of Venezuela. The high, isolated plateaus of the Tepuis are like islands in the sky, home to a unique and serene world of plants found nowhere else on Earth. Many of these are carnivorous plants, like the Heliamphora pitcher plants, which have adapted to the nutrient-poor, rocky soil by evolving the quiet and beautiful ability to trap and digest insects. They are a peaceful and isolated community of life, living in a quiet garden in the clouds. The bottle tree has a swollen trunk that gives it a serene and unique bottle shape. Native to Australia, the Queensland bottle tree has a massive, bulbous trunk that can be many meters in diameter at its base before tapering towards the branches. This swollen trunk is a beautiful and quiet adaptation for storing water in a climate with long, dry seasons. Each tree has its own unique, sculptural, and peaceful personality, a living, water-filled bottle of immense and gentle proportions. The Italian man orchid looks like rows of tiny pink men. A relative of the naked man orchid, the Orchis italica, produces a dense spike of flowers, each one a perfect, charming, and quiet miniature. The labellum of the flower is lobed and shaped to look exactly like a small human figure with a smiling face, arms, and legs. They grow in a dense cluster, as if an entire crowd of tiny, peaceful people have gathered together on a single plant stem. A plant called the kissing flower has flower buds that look like two lips about to kiss. Another member of the Psychotria genus, a relative of the hooker's lips plant, produces flower buds that are a perfect and serene sculpture of a romantic moment. Before the flower opens, the bright red petals are fused in a way that looks exactly like a pair of human lips, puckered and ready for a quiet and gentle kiss. It is another of nature's playful and peaceful little secrets. The voodoo lily is a plant that can regulate its own temperature to attract insects. Like the skunk cabbage, the voodoo lily is a thermogenic plant. On the single night that its large, dark purple flower opens, it can heat its central spadix to a temperature well above the surrounding air. This heating helps to volatilize its pungent carrion-like scent, creating a powerful, warm, and rising plume of odor that can travel for great distances on the cool night air. It is a quiet and beautiful piece of silent thermal engineering. There is a plant that produces the sourest fruit in the world, hundreds of times more sour than a lemon. The fruit of the Dillenia indica, or elephant apple, is a large, hard, greenish fruit that is intensely acidic. Its profound sourness makes it mostly inedible to humans, but it is a quiet and effective defense mechanism. It ensures that only very large animals with robust digestive systems like elephants can eat the fruit and disperse its seeds. It is a quiet and powerful statement, written in the language of taste. The devil's bellflower is a purple so dark it appears almost black. The Michauxia chihachiwi is a tall and stately flower from Turkey. Its large, bell-shaped flowers hang downwards in a serene and beautiful cascade. The color of the flowers is a deep, dark and velvety purple, a shade so profound and saturated that in the shadows it appears to be a perfect and quiet black. It is a flower that has embraced the peaceful and serene beauty of the darkness. The Tasmanian tree. Fern is a living fossil, unchanged for millions of years. The Dicksonia antarctica is a slow-growing and incredibly majestic plant. It is a relic from a much older world, a design that was perfected long before the evolution of flowering plants. To stand in a grove of these serene and ancient ferns, with their thick, fibrous trunks and their huge, gracefully unfurling fronds, is to feel a quiet and peaceful connection to the deep, green, and silent past of our planet. Certain plants have flowers that are perfectly designed to be pollinated by the wind. Grasses and many trees like oaks and pines have decided to forego the showy world of insect pollination. Their flowers are often small, green, and inconspicuous. They do not waste energy producing colorful petals or sweet nectar. Instead, they produce vast quantities of very fine, lightweight pollen, which they release into the air to be carried on the gentle and silent currents of the wind. It is a pollination strategy of quiet, serene, and beautiful efficiency. They have no nectar or color, only the serene beauty of functional form. The beauty of a wind-pollinated flower is a quiet and subtle one. It is the beauty of a perfectly designed object. The long, feathery stigmas of a grass flower, designed to comb the pollen from the air, have a delicate and serene grace. The male catkins of a birch tree, hanging like quiet, soft pendants, have a simple and peaceful elegance. It is the quiet beauty of a perfect tool for a silent job. The Albany pitcher plant is an endangered species that grows only in one small region of Australia. The Cephalotus follicularis is a unique and beautiful carnivorous plant, unrelated to any other pitcher plant in the world. Its small, squat, and beautifully patterned pitchers rest on the ground, often with a row of translucent windows on their back to confuse trapped insects. It is a quiet and peaceful species that exists only in a tiny, fragile corner of the world, a serene and beautiful reminder of the preciousness of biodiversity. There is a plant whose seeds have wings, allowing them to glide gently on the breeze. The seeds of the Javan cucumber have evolved into a remarkable and beautiful piece of natural engineering. The seed itself is tiny, but it is surrounded by a large, transparent, and wing-like structure made of dried tissue. When this seed falls from the tree, it does not plummet. Instead, it catches the wind and spins like a helicopter's rotor, gliding gently and silently for a great distance before settling peacefully on the forest floor. The monkey bread tree has fruits that dry into pods that sound like maracas. The baobab tree, also known as the monkey bread tree, has large velvety seed pods. When the fruit inside dries out, the seeds become loose within the hard, woody shell. When the pod is shaken, it makes a gentle, rhythmic, and soothing rattling sound, like a natural, quiet maraca. It is a tree that produces its own serene and peaceful musical instrument. Certain plants can count folding their leaves a specific number of times to trap their prey. The Venus flytrap has a sophisticated and quiet sense of touch. To avoid closing on false alarms like raindrops, its trap will only snap shut if two of its trigger hairs are touched in quick succession. Even more remarkably, after it has closed, it will only begin to produce its digestive enzymes if the struggling insect inside continues to touch the hairs multiple times. It is a simple, silent, and effective way for the plant to count, a quiet and beautiful form of botanical arithmetic. The Chinese lantern flower has a paper-thin seed pod that resembles a delicate paper lantern. After the small, white flower of the Physalis alcakengi has faded, the calyx that surrounded it continues to grow. It expands and dries into a large, bright orange, papery husk that looks exactly like a miniature, decorative paper lantern. Inside this beautiful and quiet little cage, the small, edible berry of the plant is safely hidden. It is a flower that gifts itself a serene and beautiful house to grow in. There is a plant that grows only in the cracks of granite rocks. The Campanula isophylla, or Italian bellflower, is a plant that thrives in a place where it seems nothing should grow. It sends its roots deep into the tiny, cool and moist fissures of granite cliffs and rock faces. In the summer, it produces a spectacular and serene cascade of star-shaped blue or white flowers that spill out over the hard, grey rock. It is a quiet and beautiful testament to life's ability to find a gentle and peaceful home in the most unlikely of places. The comet orchid has a nectar spur, 1 foot long, containing a sweet prize at its very base. This remarkable orchid from Madagascar, Angraecum sesquipedale, has a large, white, star-shaped flower with an incredibly long, thin, hollow tube or spur hanging down from it. At the very bottom of this deep, quiet well is a small drop of nectar. The flower's serene and strange shape presented a puzzle, as no known insect could possibly reach the nectar. Darwin predicted a moth with a 1 foot long tongue to pollinate it decades before it was found. When Charles Darwin saw the comet orchid, he made a quiet and brilliant prediction. He reasoned that somewhere in the forests of Madagascar there must exist a moth with a proboscis, or tongue, long enough to reach the nectar. Many scientists scoffed at the idea, but decades after Darwin's death, such a moth was indeed discovered, a large sphinx moth with a tongue that uncoils to be over 1 foot long. It was a beautiful and serene confirmation of the quiet, perfect, and logical dance of coevolution. The desert rhubarb plant can survive surface temperatures of over 70 degrees Celsius. In the searing heat of the Negev desert, this remarkable plant has a quiet and ingenious survival strategy. It grows enormous leaves which provide shade to its own root system. More importantly, the unique waxy texture of these leaves is designed to harvest the smallest amount of moisture from the air and channel it directly down to the plant's roots. It is a quiet and beautiful piece of natural engineering that allows it to create its own private, gentle watering system in one of the driest places on Earth. There is a tree that can produce 40 different types of stone fruit on its branches. Through a quiet, patient, and artistic process called grafting, a single tree can be made to bear a serene and bountiful harvest. The Tree of 40 Fruit is a project where an artist has grafted buds from many different varieties of stone fruit: peaches, plums, apricots, nectarines, and cherries onto the branches of a single host tree. The result is a single, beautiful tree that, in the summer, is covered in a quiet and peaceful diversity of different fruits. The frankincense tree produces the aromatic resin that has been used in quiet ceremonies for thousands of years. The Boswellia sacra is a small, hardy tree that grows in the arid regions of the Middle East and Africa. When its bark is cut, it bleeds a milky white sap that hardens into a fragrant resin. This is frankincense. For millennia, its beautiful, calming scent has been a part of peaceful, meditative, and spiritual practices in cultures all over the world. It is a quiet tree that produces a fragrance of deep and profound serenity. A certain plant can live completely submerged in fast-flowing streams. The Podostemaceae family of plants, often called riverweeds, are true aquatic acrobats. They have evolved to cling tightly to the rocks in the turbulent waters of rapids and waterfalls. They have a strange, ribbon-like or mossy appearance, and they are so perfectly adapted to this environment that they cannot survive in still water. They are serene and beautiful plants that have found their peaceful home in the quiet heart of the most energetic water. The rattlesnake plantain has flowers that resemble the tail of a rattlesnake. This small and quiet woodland orchid has a beautiful rosette of leaves, but its name comes from its flower stalk. It produces a dense spike of small, white, intricate flowers that are arranged in a way that looks very much like the rattle on the tail of a rattlesnake. It is another of nature's gentle and quiet little deceptions, a peaceful plant that has chosen to borrow the fearsome reputation of another creature. A plant called Adam's bones has thick, segmented stems that resemble a spine. The Dacaria madagascariensis is a strange and beautiful succulent from Madagascar. Its stems grow in a bizarre, zigzagging pattern, and they are thick, grey, and segmented in a way that looks very much like a vertebral column. It is a quiet and serene piece of anatomical sculpture, a plant that has decided to build itself from what looks like a collection of beautiful, ancient bones. There is a plant that only releases its pollen when it feels the vibration of a bee's buzz. Many plants in the tomato and blueberry family have a special and quiet mechanism for pollination. Their pollen is held tightly inside the anthers. It will not be released by the wind or a simple touch. Only when a bee lands on the flower and vibrates its flight muscles at a specific frequency, a behavior known as buzz pollination, will the anthers be stimulated to release their pollen in a quiet and gentle cloud. It is a lock that can only be opened by a secret vibrational key. The swan orchid has a flower that resembles a serene and long-necked swan. The Cycnoches orchid is a plant of quiet and graceful beauty. The male flowers of this species have a long, elegantly curved column that arches over the rest of the flower, looking for all the world like the neck of a swan. The entire flower is a serene and peaceful sculpture, a quiet and beautiful tribute to one of the most graceful birds in the world. Spanish moss is neither Spanish nor a moss, but a quiet relative of the pineapple. This beautiful and serene plant, which hangs in gentle, silvery festoons from the branches of trees in the American South, is a true air plant. It has no roots and absorbs all the water and nutrients it needs directly from the air and the rain. It is a member of the bromeliad family, which makes the pineapple its closest famous relative. It is a quiet, gentle, and misunderstood plant, living a peaceful life in the warm, humid air. Certain plant seeds are so tough they can pass through an elephant's digestive system unharmed. To disperse their seeds over great distances, some trees have evolved a partnership with the largest land animals. The seeds are encased in a sweet, fleshy fruit that the elephant eats. The seed itself has an incredibly hard and durable coat that allows it to survive the long, slow, and quiet journey through the elephant's digestive tract. It emerges unharmed and perfectly fertilized, far from its parent tree. It is a quiet journey that requires a profound and peaceful toughness. The waxflower has perfect porcelain-like flowers that seem to have been delicately sculpted. The Hoya carnosa produces clusters of beautiful, star-shaped flowers that have a truly otherworldly perfection. They are so smooth, so symmetrical, and so perfectly formed that they look as though they were carved from wax or crafted in a quiet artist's studio. In the center of each flower is a smaller inner star, often of a contrasting color, adding to the serene and intricate beauty. It is a flower that seems to be a quiet and perfect work of art. There is a plant that lives in complete darkness at the bottom of caves. The cave-dwelling schistostega moss is a master of a low-light existence. But some algae have taken this even further. Certain species can live in the profound, perpetual darkness deep within caves, far from any sunlight. They are not photosynthetic. Instead, they are chemoautotrophs, meaning they derive their energy from quiet, slow, and silent chemical reactions, often by metabolizing minerals that drip down the cave walls. It gets its energy not from light, but from the slow, silent drips of mineral-rich water. This is a form of life that is completely independent of the sun's energy. It is a quiet, self-contained ecosystem, living on the faint chemical energy locked within the rocks themselves. It is a profound and peaceful reminder that life can find a quiet and serene way to exist, even in the most seemingly inhospitable of places, drawing its sustenance from the slow and patient breathing of the earth itself. The white ginger lily has one of the sweetest and most serene fragrances in the plant kingdom. The Hedychium coronarium produces large, beautiful white flowers that look a bit like butterflies, but their most remarkable quality is their scent. In the evening, they release an intensely sweet, rich, and beautiful fragrance that can fill an entire garden with a sense of peace and tranquility. It is a quiet and generous flower offering its serene and beautiful perfume to the cool night air. A plant called the sotol can take up to 50 years to gather enough energy to bloom. The desert spoon, or Dacilerion wheeleri, is another serene and patient resident of the desert. It spends decades of its life as a beautiful spherical rosette of long, spiky leaves. It quietly and methodically gathers and stores resources until, after as long as half a century of this patient waiting, it sends up a single, colossal flower stalk, sometimes 15 feet tall. It is another quiet and beautiful life spent in long and peaceful preparation for one final spectacular act. The giant dandelion tree of the Galapagos is a tree-sized version of the humble garden flower. The Scalesia genus, also known as the Darwin's finches of the plant world, are members of the daisy and dandelion family. On the isolated Galapagos Islands with no large trees to compete with, these plants have evolved to fill the ecological niche of a tree. They have woody trunks and grow to be 40 feet tall, forming entire quiet and beautiful forests of giant serene dandelions. There is a plant whose roots can break solid rock in their quiet search for water. The roots of a fig tree are a quiet and powerful force of nature. They can grow into the tiniest of cracks in a stone wall or a rocky cliff face. As the root grows, it expands with a slow, gentle, and inexorable pressure. Over many years, this quiet, persistent pressure is enough to split solid rock, a beautiful and serene demonstration of how the soft, living, and patient forces of nature can overcome the hard and the unyielding. A certain plant has a relationship with bacteria that allows it to create its own fertilizer from the air. Legumes like beans and peas have a quiet and miraculous partnership. Their roots have small nodules that are home to a specific type of bacteria. These bacteria have the remarkable ability to take nitrogen, an essential nutrient, directly from the air and fix it into a form that the plant can use as fertilizer. It is a silent, beautiful, and perfectly self-sufficient system. A plant that has quietly learned to create its own nourishment from the gentle and invisible air. The zebra flower has stripes that guide insects to its center. The flowers of the Aphelandra squarosa are beautiful, but its most striking feature is its leaves. They are a deep, glossy green marked with bold, beautiful, and serene stripes of white or yellow along the veins, looking exactly like the pattern of a zebra. This quiet and beautiful foliage is a constant and peaceful display of nature's love for elegant and striking patterns. The Huon pine is a Tasmanian tree that can live for more than 2,000 years. This ancient and serene tree is one of the longest living organisms on Earth. It grows incredibly slowly, its wood becoming dense and filled with a fragrant oil that makes it resistant to rot. Some living specimens are known to be over 2,000 years old, but clonal groves of this tree have been found that are over 10,000 years old. They are a quiet, gentle, and fragrant connection to the deep, silent history of the ancient world. The cucumber tree is a relative of the magnolia that has fruits which look like small cucumbers. The Magnolia acuminata is a large and beautiful forest tree. It has serene, yellowish-green, tulip-like flowers, but its most curious feature is its fruit. It produces a small, knobby green fruit that, when it is young, looks very much like a small cucumber hanging in the branches. It is a quiet and gentle little quirk, a beautiful tree that has decided to borrow the humble appearance of a common garden vegetable. There is a plant that has learned to avoid being eaten by mimicking the pattern of dead leaves on the forest floor. The leaves of the caladium plant are often beautifully patterned. Some varieties have evolved a mottled, brownish pattern with irregular splotches that make them look almost exactly like the dead, decaying leaves that litter the quiet forest floor. This serene and clever camouflage makes them almost invisible to the herbivores that might otherwise want to eat them. It is a plant that has learned the quiet and peaceful art of disappearing. Every rare plant is a silent and beautiful solution to a unique problem of life. Each of these strange, serene, and beautiful plants is a quiet masterpiece of evolution. It represents millions of years of patient trial and error, a long and peaceful process that has resulted in a perfect and unique answer to a specific set of challenges. To look at a rare plant is to look at a quiet, living poem written in the language of leaves, roots, and flowers. It is a gentle reminder that life's quiet creativity is the most beautiful and serene force in the universe. And so, our quiet walk through the world's most secret and serene gardens comes to a gentle close. We have wandered through silent forests and remote deserts, discovering the beautiful, strange, and peaceful ways that life has found to exist. The images of these quiet and wondrous plants can now begin to soften and fade, leaving only a deep and profound sense of peace in their wake. It is time to let it all go. We have seen flowers that look like ghosts and birds, and trees that hold the quiet memory of the ancient world. We have felt the deep, slow, and patient rhythm of the plant kingdom, a world that measures its life in seasons, in centuries, in millennia. We have learned that the most beautiful solutions are often the most quiet, and that there is a deep and serene wisdom in stillness. Let the feeling of this quiet, green, and patient world be a deep comfort to you now. The air you breathe is a gift from the gentle, silent work of plants. You are a part of this same beautiful and interconnected web of life. Your own nightly cycle of rest and quiet renewal is a perfect reflection of the deep and peaceful rhythms of the natural world. And now, as you drift down into the soft and welcoming darkness of sleep, there is nothing left to do. Let your thoughts become as quiet as a seed, sleeping peacefully in the dark earth. Allow your mind to become as still and serene as an ancient tree in a silent forest. The garden of your mind is now ready for a long and peaceful night of rest. May your dreams be gentle and beautiful. Good night.